Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the news. Before we begin, a quick look at the headlines. NPP candidate Dr. DRL Nonglait promises push for Khasi language inclusion in 8th schedule during Shillong by-election campaign in Reboy. West Khasi Hills Health Department observes World Hepatitis Day with screening and awareness drive to promote early detection and prevention. South Garo Hills achieves a 100% enumeration form distribution under SIR Electoral Roll Revision, over 96% forms digitized. Severe floods continue to ravage Assam's Nazira area as thousands displaced and rescue operations intensify. And Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh calls Public Examinations Amendment Bill 2026 a landmark step to protect students and ensure fair exams. The news in detail. First, the local news. The National People's Party (NPP) held a public election campaign at Umdihar village in Umsning constituency, Reboy, seeking support for its Shillong Lok Sabha by-election candidate Professor Dr. DRL Nonglait. Addressing the gathering, Dr. Nonglait said his key priority is to pursue the inclusion of the Khasi language in the 8th schedule of the Constitution, stating that constitutional recognition would benefit the youth by enabling the language to be used in competitive examinations and official communication. The campaign was attended by Deputy Chief Minister Sneobha Langdhar and other NPP leaders who appealed to voters to support the party's vision for Meghalaya's development.
Ulit sebenarnya nak kebantaman, yasin kita harus berbantauan, kamat bantauan. Kesultanan Meghalaya Legislative Assembly kadang artili ki Assembly resolution, kami kalau man perlu ya ketin khasiya po kekhlit ke bapra. Hadin kading dawa jauh ke khasi atau society, ringkat berkuai pat kikan hun sen bahalang kisen niam bat kipapa kabri unyotra kasorkar MDA hakas niam hajar khapra 9 November kalau wanra yakarai ban kentu ya kasorkar India ban simi kesenjam ban pendrung wa yaktin kasi hajar khnit ropra kabat ban pendrung ya yaktin kasi hapo ke constitution keriti sensa dari India.
The District Medical and Health Office DMNHO West Khasi Hills observed World Hepatitis Day by organizing a free hepatitis screening and awareness program at New Nongstoin Market under the theme Hepatitis, Let's Break It Down. Addressing the gathering, District Medical and Health Officer Dr. M.K. Sohulia highlighted the importance of early screening, vaccination and awareness to prevent hepatitis B and C, while nursing students staged an awareness skit on the transmission and prevention of viral hepatitis. A large number of people participated in the free screening camp, reflecting growing public awareness about the importance of early detection and prevention of liver diseases.
Lapan mentan ki nursing student jong ka district jong kumno ki different ki dwe ki jat jong ka hepatitis ki bapher kumno ba ka sapriang kumno ngila maniada ngatrai barok na ki play kita barok te hakani kasni ni kum ka health department ni dan kam ka jingat trailang bat jong fi menta haka kot ka khia PUE buon sien menta ngila ni ya daga screening kabangi ong ka preventive kamot ni screen shwa ni daya la di na marngin kwa bangin apoy hadu kapor bangin dapoy kata kata lap ka jingpang ladir kapor ray mentang ya daga preventive the preventive kamot ka jing ya da kumong ila ban ya da daga bangi screen ngapen shlur ya pi ginong song shlong baro jong kanong stan ban wan chakmat ban screen ya la dia dan kam bun na pi pin ong balai ngan nek ban screen na mar bangam dei bapang henre la da pi wan chakmat ban screen la da ka test jong fi ka dei negative kata ka dei ka jing sok pi dei ban screen na mar bakalong negative te ka da long negative ka pen I baka community maka shnong ka thau kan long ka bashat baklan.
The Southwest Garo Hills District Administration organized a one-day enrollment drive at Nogorpara Primary Health Centre under the Chief Minister's Catalytic Fund for Achieving the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). The initiative provided birth and death registration and Aadhaar enrollment and update services, with birth and death certificates issued on the spot and Aadhaar services completed after document verification. The drive aimed to improve access to essential civil registration and identify services while supporting the district's efforts to achieve the sustainable development goals. Drivers transporting for Star Cement in East Jaintia Hills have approached the Meghalaya Commercial Truck Owners and Drivers Association MC Toda, alleging delayed payments, low trip rates and poor working conditions. The drivers claimed trip payments are often delayed despite being transferred directly to the bank accounts, leaving them without money for food during long journeys. They demanded timely payments, cash disbursement of trip charges and a fixed salary. MC Toda said it will submit a memorandum to the district administration alleging that the company is exploiting local drivers. The association also called for unity among more than 200 affected drivers and assured them of its support in pursuing their demands.
Yung kam wa lakatu dekret da bun tu ligi bina da absorb wa gini company perchang beki ngon ben ya ki local tribal yang ni wa kamno le yuksi ba ya gini ki local tribal ki driver ki truck yang yuksi te yu kamai ki perchang ki maximize ki profit yang ki dewa knyon ne ba lada elat ki ite ki kari yang ki le yo ara de ki lo kedah ita ka jing wato wa gini company le bo kari ki untuk do pen cement tu mi kri kare ki em kari ki de ne te dau te kwa ba ki nyon ben yu yo lut yu ki waro ke jing ki to do da ki ke te kwa ki ni te da chen ji o he jing ye to wa ka sen yo MC to da ni le dang chem ni ke jing dang bon ni ba kam wa da pembaik da ga sarkar yang ga Meghalaya da ong wa da ega bah si so proudly ha chismi ya bah waro gini gi company nyau tali te gini so proudly poem jo yo hado kate dang yo do le proudly lane kam malumala te gini to gaju te yolti nang mi gisni nang ye le hado yo gini gi bah yang so proudly chismi.
The Khasi Students' Union KSU East Jaintia Hills unit has reiterated its opposition to Shree Cement Limited's proposed limestone mining and cement project at Daistong Ilaka Nongkle ahead of the public hearing scheduled for July 31st. Speaking with the media, President, KSU East Jaintia Hills unit Streamly Suchen said local communities fear the loss of agricultural land, forests, water sources and traditional livelihoods, and questioned the decision to hold the public hearing at 8 a.m. instead of the usual 10 a.m. He also urged the district administration to ensure that all affected residents are allowed to participate freely in the hearing and voice their concerns.
Tentang layak pani kudu yo member secretary jam kami leadership usul control board bidi bat kena ke public hearing imut kon perlong biang hak lai PWW trik entau penai mar kena ke ju hearing la bergema wa kena ke ju hearing kira perlong ting mencuah dari la fil atau por wa jing persau jong nong sunong ko tan temta nang liang board kemut ban perlong biang session bat ke jing perlong ki kan long be hak lai PWW trik entau penai te kum ga sengi persau jor je kena mar hadin ba Pilai upai bat nong sunong jong isen tiap khantam upai bat jong ketu than ha ka ba sesimen ngemut ban set up ha ketu than mar ki bun nong sunong ki kwa ba kim kwa ba ka ne ka jingwan jong ne sesimen kindu no ya ki heli pinthor ne ki jaka puta ki jong ki.
The South Garo Hills District Election Office has completed 100% distribution of 110,488 enumeration forms under the Special Intensive Revision SIR of electoral rolls across all 3 assembly constituencies. Officials said the district has also achieved 96.91% digitization, with over 1 lakh forms already digitized. The distribution and collection of forms is scheduled to conclude by July 29th. The administration said the revision exercise is progressing smoothly, with booth-level officers carrying out house-to-house verification across the district. A body was recovered from the deep gorge of Umtong waterfall at Nonglom, Umlinka on Tuesday, with police suspecting it to be that of a local youth who had been missing since July 25th. The body was spotted by local residents, following which the Fire and Emergency Services Search and Rescue Team launched a rope-assisted recovery operation. Police and a forensic team later conducted the necessary formalities at the site. Authorities suspect the deceased to be Wellborn Starlingdor Nongbasap, though official identification is still awaited. An investigation is underway. A look at regional stories. Nagaland Chief Minister Nephew Rio flagged off 549 new police vehicles and 12 mobile forensic vans at Chumaukadima under the police modernization scheme. The initiative aims to strengthen the mobility, operational readiness and investigative capabilities of the Nagaland Police. The newly inducted fleet is expected to improve law enforcement, crime investigation and emergency response across the state. The mobile forensic vans will enable faster on-site evidence collection and scientific investigation, enhancing policing efficiency. The Chief Minister said the move reflects the state government's commitment to building a modern, technology-driven and people-centric police force.
Today's program marks an important milestone in our continuing efforts to strengthen the operational capability of Nagaland Police. These vehicles are not merely addition to the police fleet. They represent our collective commitment to building a modern, responsive and people-centric police force capable of meeting the evolving security needs in our state. The Nagaland Police is one of the most vital institutions of the state. Through decades of challenges, our police personnel have served the people with courage, resilience and dedication.
Severe flooding continues to batter Nazira in Assam, inundating thousands of homes and causing widespread damage to property and infrastructure. Flood waters have swept away a concrete boundary wall, while several residential areas remain submerged. Thousands of affected residents have been shifted to relief camps as authorities continue rescue and relief operations in the flood-hit region.
वो हम लोग का यहाँ पे जो फ्लड आया है उससे हम लोग को मतलब टाइम ही नहीं मिला कुछ सामान उठाने के लिए। सब कुछ किताब पत्र वो भतीजा था दो, उसका खराब हो गया सब किताब बिस्तर हम लोगों का, तो कोई नहीं बचा, मतलब घर के अंदर में पूरा पानी की घुस गया सब। आप लोग अभी तो खाना बना हम लोग पहले 2-3 दिन तो हम लोग का वो बगल में घर का पानी नहीं था उसमें खाया था। अभी तो हम लोग यहाँ पे घर पे कुछ जुगाड़ करके वहाँ पे खाया है। अभी
अचानक ये संडे आ रहा था 2:30 बेला 6 बजे तक, और ये हो गया अचानक। हमने कोई भी जान पहचान लोग ही नहीं था हमारे पास, और हमारा घर का एक छत था उसमें हम चला गया था और बांध ने हमको सारा ये अनिष्ट कर दिया। घर का सारा सामान टूट गया, गाड़ी मोटर सब खराब हो गया। खाने वाले का हमें कुछ भी नहीं है, रिलीफ दे रहा था, एक दिन खाया था और कल खाने के लिए हमने सोचना पड़ेगा।
Moving on, other national stories. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh has described the Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Amendment Bill 2026 as a landmark legislation aimed at protecting the future of students and ensuring the integrity of public examinations. Speaking in the Lok Sabha, Dr. Singh said the bill strengthens the 2024 Act, calling it the first legislation of its kind in independent India. He said the amendment reaffirms the government's commitment to safeguarding students' interests and reflects Prime Minister Narendra Modi's resolve to prevent any compromise with the future of the nation's youth.
This bill, which was introduced yesterday, is in fact an amendment to the earlier bill, Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. Which was also brought by this government, and not only brought, it was perhaps the first of its kind in the history of independent India. The earlier bill and the amendment today are, in a way, a reaffirmation of this government's deep commitment to safeguard the welfare of the students and the youth of this country. And at the same time, it is also a reiteration of Prime Minister Modi ji's resolve not to allow anyone to compromise with the future of the children of Mother India. And therefore, this bill can be described in a way as a milestone legislation in the history of Indian Parliament.
India has rejected the so-called Legislative Assembly elections being conducted in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said India's position remains clear that the entire union territories of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, including areas under Pakistan's illegal occupation, are integral parts of India. He termed the electoral exercise an attempt by Pakistan to conceal its illegal occupation and alleged human rights violations in the region.
Entire question regarding the elections in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So let me put forth what we think of it. We have seen reports regarding the so-called Legislative Assembly elections being conducted in the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. India's position on this particular matter has been clear, consistent and well known. The entire union territories of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, including the areas currently under illegal occupation and forcible occupation of Pakistan, are integral and inedible parts of India. The current cosmetic electoral exercise is nothing but an attempt by Pakistan to camouflage its illegal occupation and hide its grave human rights violations in the region. As we have stated earlier, the ongoing mass protests in the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, of which you are aware, you would have seen the latest visuals from there, are the direct consequences of its economic exploitation, its denial of fundamental rights to the people and their administrative oppression.
Rescue teams continued large-scale operations in Assam and Gujarat as severe monsoon flooding inundated vast areas, forcing thousands of people and livestock to move to safer locations. In Assam, over 6.5 lakh people across 11 districts remain affected, with the death toll rising to 68 and around 40 people still missing. In Gujarat, rescue personnel used inflatable boats to evacuate stranded residents, while floodwaters submerged roads and homes. Authorities are continuing relief and rehabilitation efforts as heavy rains persist in the affected regions. A look at news around the world. A rare diplomatic rift between the United States and France unfolded at the UN Security Council, with the US delegation walking out during France's intervention at a meeting on the war in Ukraine. The walkout followed escalating tensions over the re-election of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and recent remarks by France on the United States human rights record. The exchange triggered a public war of words between the two long-standing allies, highlighting growing differences on diplomatic and international issues.
Rhetoric. I must point out that there is a member of this council that will feign moral outrage and pretend to lecture the rest of us about every topic. Whether it's about the very conflict we're discussing yet again today, or even those unrelated to international peace and security, like human rights. That is why we walked out during France's intervention. This disingenuous grandstanding is tiresome, but we have tolerated it out of a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect as P5 members. We have stood by this member state through every conflict in which their freedoms have been imperiled. And today, I remind them that it is the United States that remains the beacon of liberty for the world. As such, we will not be affording them the benefit of listening to their politicized drivel until they renounce their condescending and disrespectful rhetoric and behave in a manner commensurate with their seat on this council.
Uganda has officially been declared Ebola-free, bringing an end to its latest outbreak of the viral disease that infected 20 people and claimed 2 lives. Health authorities confirmed that no new cases have been reported since June 22nd, allowing the country to complete the required surveillance period. Most of the confirmed cases were linked to neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. Officials credited Uganda's strong surveillance, contact tracing and treatment systems for successfully containing the outbreak and preventing wider community transmission.
Uganda is temporarily closing the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo with immediate effect. The only exceptions are for authorized Ebola response teams, the humanitarian operations, food and cargo transportation, and security, but all these still will be under the strict health screening and monitoring protocols across the border. Any person returning from DRC into Uganda, whether through air, whether through border, if you have been there in DRC and you come to Uganda, you'll be required to undergo mandatory self-isolation for 21 days.
A powerful 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck Japan's Kumamoto prefecture today, causing extensive damage to buildings and infrastructure. An explosion following the quake severely damaged an Aeon shopping mall with a collapsed bridge, a damaged shrine and multiple fires. Thousands of homes lost power as authorities issued emergency alerts and evacuation orders across several prefectures in Kyushu. A tsunami warning was briefly issued before being lifted, while officials warned residents to remain alert for strong aftershocks. Lastly, news around sports. India's Sharmila Dhankar created history by winning gold in the women's F57 shot put at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, becoming the country's first ever para-athletics gold medalist at the Games. India also added 3 silver medals through Sarvesh Kushare in men's high jump and weightlifters Valuri Ajay Babu and Gyaneshwari Yadav. Shilpa Shaila secured a bronze in the women's F57 shot put after a successful review. India's medal tally now stands at 10 medals, 2 gold, 5 silver and 3 bronze, while boxer Lavinia Borgohain is short of a medal after receiving a quarter-final in the women's 75 kg event.
बहुत खुश हो रहे हैं सर, मेडल लाके हमारे देश के लिए प्राउड फील हो रहा है और ऐसे ही हमारे देश का नाम ऊंचा करें। बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, ये मेरा सपना था, मेरी माँ का सपना था और ये गोल्ड मेहनत से गोल्ड लेके आए हैं। आज मेरी माँ बहुत खुश होगी, मेरी माँ के लिए ये मेडल है मेरा। एशियन गेम की तैयारी है और आगे ओलंपिक ये मेरा फर्स्ट मेडल है और आने वाले गेम में और अच्छे मेडल लाके रखेंगे लॉन्ग टाइम तक।
The All India Football Federation AIFF has announced that the Indian Football League IFL 2026 to 2027 season will begin on October 16th. At the IFL Governing Council meeting in New Delhi, key decisions were taken to increase game time for Indian players and limit teams to a maximum of 3 foreign players in the starting 11. The council also reviewed the previous season, which recorded 17.56 million live television viewers. AIFF Deputy Secretary General M. Satyanarayan said the meeting focused on the roadmap and budget for the upcoming season. The weather report for today. In Tura, the minimum temperature stands at 23 degrees Celsius with maximum temperature at 31 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 67% and the rainfall recorded was 3.6 millimeters. Moving on to Shillong, the minimum temperature stands at 19 degrees Celsius with maximum temperature at 26 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 70% and the rainfall recorded was 6.1 millimeters. Lastly, in Jowai, the minimum temperature stands at 19 degrees Celsius with maximum temperature at 27 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 70% and the rainfall recorded was 2.9 millimeters. And the forecast in Tura, Shillong and Jowai says moderate rain with thunderstorm likely to occur at many places. Before we wind up, a recap of the headlines. NPP candidate Dr. D.R.L. Nonglite promises push for Khasi language inclusion in 8th schedule during Shillong by-election campaign in Ribhoi. West Khasi Hills Health Department observes World Hepatitis Day with screening and awareness drive to promote early detection and prevention. South Garo Hills achieves a 100% enumeration form distribution under SIR Electoral Roll Revision, over 96% forms digitized. Severe floods continue to ravage Assam's Nazira area as thousands displaced and rescue operations intensify. And Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh calls Public Examinations Amendment Bill 2026 a landmark step to protect students and ensure fair exams. With that, dear viewers, we come to the end of the news bulletin. For more updates, join us tomorrow at the same time, same channel. Until then, goodbye.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Northeast News Bulletin. This is Niharika Kolita presenting the headlines first. Centre closely